What's up everybody, it's Critical. Recently I've made a lot of videos on really shitty Kickstarter products and crowdfunding products in general, and I've seen countless of crowdfunding products that are just truly abysmal, like pure camel urine that will not only raise your GPA but also spot reduce your abdominal fat, just all kinds of nonsense. However, this is objectively the worst crowdfunding project in current times, definitely the most dangerous as well. I've been following this story for a little bit, so I'm going to give you this story in a nutsack. This is a crowdfunded submarine, and it's seen modest success. It's performed what it was supposed to pretty decently. Obviously not up to military standards or James Bond standards or anything like that, but this shit worked for the most part. It could dive, it could resurface, you could play checkers and chess on board, maybe perhaps even a rousing game of Old Maid while you're underwater on this crowdfunded submarine. It did a decent job. Now, a journalist named Kim Wall went on board this vessel with the creator of this. Now, while on board this vessel, it sank. And not in the way that it's designed to do. It's a fucking submarine. You would expect it to sink. You would hope it would sink. But this shit sank like the fucking Titanic. This was a catastrophe. Peter Madsen, the creator, survived. But Kim Wall was reported missing. According to Peter Madsen, initially, he said he had already dropped her off and she wasn't on board. Something must have happened. Maybe she was abducted by ninjas. Who fucking knows? Peter Madsen washed his hands of it, and that was the end of that, and they were looking for Kim Wall. Now, since it's a submarine, and an amateurish one at that, they could find where it sank. So they found the submarine. They're not releasing details about what they're finding inside. But in the midst of finding this submarine, Peter Madman has changed his story and said Kim Wall did die on the sub of an accident just moments before it sank. He also said the sub went down in 30 seconds and there was nothing he could do to stop it. So that seems a little suspicious. It goes down in 30 seconds, somehow Peter Madsen has time to escape, meanwhile Kim Wall's already been killed by some type of accident. What fucking accident happened there, Peter? You what, like a fucking hatchet to the face accident? That kind of shit happens all the time, I guess. But naturally, the speculation is Peter Madsen killed Kim Wall aboard the submarine and then sank the submarine to cover it up, hoping that they wouldn't find it. But they found it, so he's changed the story. And after this story was posted on Gizmodo, they updated it because authorities found a female torso in the water where Peter Madsen said he dropped her off. So maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe he did drop her off where he said he did, albeit not in one piece since it was just a fucking torso. But regardless, this lunatic is up to some type of foul play. Now, I think I can say with a pretty high level of certainty that this is the first publicly crowdfunded murder thus far. And it's definitely going to be a difficult crowdfunding execution to top. People that want to copy this are going to have their work cut out for them. I feel like most people would go on Kickstarter and ask for $1,000 just so that way they could buy a rifle and some ammunition that kills somebody. Peter Madsen took this 10 steps further. 20,000 leagues under the P-ter. This man built a motherfucking submarine all off the funds of just random people's money wanting to see this guy build a submarine. And then he tested it for years to ensure that it worked. That way a journalist would be interested in checking it out and writing a story on it. Then he kills the journalist during their voyage and then sinks it. An absolute fucking lunatic. Unbelievable. So I think it wasn't a exaggeration to say that this is objectively the worst crowdfunding project that has ever been successfully crowdfunded. Absolutely fucking horrible. And hopefully Peter Madsen gets charged with more than just negligent homicide. This definitely seems like a murder and then trying to cover it up. But, you know, the story's still developing, and that's it. So yeah. Hello again. So the story kept developing. The torso of the woman did indeed belong to Kim Wall, confirmed by DNA testing. They also found Kim Wall's blood on the submarine. In addition, all of the air in the torso was squeezed out and some metal was attached to it, obviously with the intention of keeping it underwater. But you know what? Let's go ahead and create a scenario in which Peter Madsen is telling the truth. Kim Wall does die on the sub. She walks into the mess hall, slips on some of Peter Madsen's cum, falls face first into a guillotine which accidentally triggers and decapitates her. Could happen to anyone. Just one of those standard submarine accidents. So what's Peter Madsen gonna do? Well, naturally, he's gonna do what any sane man would do. He goes and grabs the hacksaw that every good submarine seaman never leaves home without, and he cuts off the arms and legs, and then he disposes of them, attaching metal to each part, ensuring they do not float and hopefully aren't found, and then he sinks the submarine. All just because this was one big accident. Yeah, you know, that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of fucking sense, Peter. I really hope this man gets the maximum possible sentence. I really hope the next dive he makes is face first into some prisoner's asshole. Just absolutely evil, by all accounts. I don't think there's any possibility at all in which Peter Madsen is innocent in this shit. It's just absolutely fucking disgusting. So yes, the worst crowdfunded project in history. That's it. See ya.